Deckard's a deep one. You give me that promotion, I'll find us a...
Only bust in the record room at Corral Court. That doesn't work. Then they send in that big bozo, Leon, yeah. They send him in to infiltrate Corral Court. That doesn't work. Then they go after that eye designer, the Chinaman.
Shoot.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
What do you mean it doesn't work?
Don't you see what they're after? Who they're looking for?
What? Who?
God.
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 Yeah, so we see, guys. I tell you, it continues to blow my mind when I talk with people and you can see that they don't have the knowledge of God. And if you speak about it, it is only foolishness to them. And I just find it kind of an interesting reflection of reality, because they're living in this world where they don't know that God is in control of everything, every moment. It's all about what God is doing here. And it's really, you can't look at anything and separate the issue of God from it. And to live your life not understanding that the plot of the whole movie is God, it just seems weird to me. I understand it. I used to live it. But it just, now it seems weird to me. Being a Christian for 34 years here, living in the sphere of understanding. I used to be an atheist up until age 20. But when I came to believe, it changed the world that I lived in. But slowly. And as I was just telling someone, it's also a terrible two-edged sword that most people can't handle, I see. That's why somebody remarked about Schultz, the guy who created Peanuts, that comic. They called him a Christian gentleman, somebody was saying about him. Because a lot of these people don't know how to handle the faith of the Lord and still be a gentleman and not be somebody who can't handle it. And I understand not being able to handle it. It's not like I can't relate to that, because it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to keep your cool when you see people, just being irreverent, or you see people just totally absent of the key knowledge of what is happening here. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, just see, and I'm not talking about stupid people, smart people, talented people, interesting people. We know. But goodness grief, friends, it just unbelievable. The blessing that we have to be able to understand, to realize that you have this all-powerful Creator in charge of our lives on a moment-by-moment basis. There's nothing out of His control. Reality is under complete, perfect control. And that consciousness, it takes a while to adopt from not having it, especially if you had consciousness without it for a long time. But once you do, you see that it's everything, and it's opening of the eyes to what's possible, the magic that's possible. But before then, you live in a mundane world where there's far less hope, far less of an optimistic view about everything. Goodness grief, friends. And terrible to behold. Terrible. And then terrible to behold the wreckage, as I said, of the two-edged sword. These people turn into worse shit sacks than non-Christians. Yeah, been saying it for years, and I'm still saying it. It's terrible. What happens? Pridefulness, the dogmaticness, the lack of a sense of humor, and still being coolness. Goodness grief, friends. I don't think God likes them. Hey, that's all an opinion. Some people say, well, you don't live a serious life. Don't lead a serious, holy life. You're not going to make it. Okay. Hey, look, I'm not saying you shouldn't be serious. I'm not saying you shouldn't be holy. I'm not saying you shouldn't do things that I've had trouble with, like prayer. Nope. And I don't judge anybody negatively for doing things that I myself don't find that I personally have the integrity for. Lacking integrity? Why should he listen to somebody who lacks integrity the way I do? Terrible to behold. Other people have a very different experience, and they really feel something moving, and something's happening, and there's some situation going on with their prayer life. There wasn't with mine, friends. Oh no. No, friends, there was not with mine. Whole lot of crickets. Whole lot of feeling like, holy shit, we're dealing with bullshit here. I was just watching a movie about a pastor from the 19th century who had a vision about hell, and he's basically like a youth pastor, and he said that he noticed that the devil was putting out all these tendrils, and he had a vision of young people going down into hell. And at first I was thinking, oh, this is a good video, and it's a warning, because we do know that the devil puts out these tendrils, and to catch young souls into things like drugs and prostitution and getting into fights and pride and things like that. And I was feeling that this was probably going to be good. And then as I was watching it and listening to it, I was waiting, because you see, I'm cautious about these videos, because as you guys may have heard me say, I see a lot of these videos, and they seem so goodly, but then if you think about it carefully, there's something wrong, there's something suspicious, there's something off. And without necessarily passing judgment on this video in particular, which I'm not gonna, it's probably long gone now, I even forget the name of it. I was just happened to catch it, and I was watching it for a little bit. I watched it pretty much to the end, but I did actually watch it to the end, but because I wanted to see. And I think that there's a risk, and there's a problem. I think a lot of these videos that we think are so goodly are actually what they do, and I know you guys know about this, but it's just good to remind each other again, because a lot of people don't know, is that they include a lot of true information in the beginning of it. And then you'll notice that if you think about it carefully, it's almost like the whole thing is designed to be built in a certain way that you don't notice that something gets slipped in and that there's something wrong. And rather than there's an energy that comes from things, and if it's not a matter of like if you feel like oh, it's because you've been caught in your guilt and your fear about your own life, and that's why you had a negative feeling. But there's also a vibe that you get from things, a vibe that you get from people, that's not just whether it made you feel good in your little belief system or not, or a feel good, touchy feely, happy ending story. There's a deeper feeling that you can kind of feel into it. And if something has, I think there's a certain sense that we need to use to be alerted to, because a lot of it you can't tell. There's a lot of information we don't know, and to remind ourselves that we don't know what really is going on behind the scenes. Yes, there's some of it listed in the scripture, but it's our concept of what's in the scripture and what we read. It's not as concrete as we think. And a lot of these people that think that they know, and they're so sure, and they make these videos, and they're very popular, they really don't. And there's actually these these people are led astray. Now, I think that and there's a lot of these religious people, especially now. You see all of these, and you see a lot of these very young people. That's another thing that kind of makes me suspicious. So they say they're intelligent and talented, and they get up there, but I'm suspicious because there's a lot, I think, that you have to go through and think about over time before you really have a realistic answer. For instance, I think a lot of people talk about things having to do with hell or what happens when you die or something like that, and using scripture and everything, and they're very sure, and I'm telling you, this is what it is, But I think it takes more time and a weight, a gravity over time to weigh things and to experience things to where you really understand that actually you're not so sure. We really don't know. And I got a feeling there was something about it, especially talking about prayer, which I know, at least my experience is that there's a problem with it. There's a problem with the falsehood and hypocrisy of it, where people think that they're justified sitting there, and then in that falsehood, in that hypocrisy, I think the devil may come in and answer the prayers of these people who are actually, in their entire prayer life, are insincere. Because I'm sharing with you that, in my opinion, I was insincere, which is why my prayer was ineffectual as I saw it. I never heard anything from the Lord. Okay? And now I was reading in the scripture where it says that it says in I believe it's Song of Solomon, then I was as one that found favor in his eyes. Now this is talking about the transformation of Jerusalem, but just that verbiage, then I was as one that found favor in his eyes. That means, now that's talking about Jerusalem undergoing the change, as I believe, but I think that that is applicable to all of us, that we might go through a change into a state where we do have integrity. And then our prayer life would be sincere before the Lord. Because what's happening is the sincerity level of Christians who haven't been through the hardship, the facing of being truly alone and isolated, truly facing things from a perspective where there was nothing but you and your thoughts about the scripture and what God would show you over time. And I get the feeling that a lot of these, I'm not trying to pick on young people that want to talk about the gospel, and I'm not wanting to discourage them, but when they get up there and teach, and then they get these big followings, okay, I see it, because I watch YouTube, okay, I'm a YouTube watcher, all right, I know, it's as bad as it is, I know, they constantly put evil in front of you. It's Satan. It's YouTube is a portal for the devil, okay? And here I am on it saying, "Oh, I'm a YouTube watcher," but there's a lot to be learned still, okay? Whether it's mechanical information or historical information or bullshit information, okay? That you kind of have to hope that you figure it out, but that's the risk you take. But altogether, it's a portal for the demons. This YouTube is hell tube, okay? It's it's design each feed is designed for each person, as I've been talking about, to get you to they'll keep you what you want to watch and things that they think are related to keep you thinking that, yeah, well, YouTube's sending me stuff that I want to watch. Okay, cool, yeah, right, and that's true. I find videos that are more easy. It's harder to go searching through the channels that you like, remembering which ones you like, and then go searching through their videos and decide that way. It's much easier to just launch it and let your feed come up videos that you're interested, subscribe, people that you're subscribed to, and so forth. The unfortunate problem with that, of course, is that you can be led astray. You can be led, to videos, and that's why you have to be careful about what you watch. So I'm suspicious about what I watch. Now, I'm not opposed or closed-minded to the idea that it's best to just stay away from it all. Somebody I was talking to not too long ago was saying, I don't even watch, pay any attention to that stuff. It's pure evil coming out. I understand. But to me, there's a lot of information to be gained, and there's some, content providers that I trust to some degree, even if I think that they are also deceived, like by this whole election thing. The fake Trump assassination really kind of opened my eyes to a new level of realizing that it's just BS. Everybody is just completely fooled by that whole dichotomy. Oh yeah, Trump is the rebel. Oh yeah, so and in my opinion, it's all the same thing. None of them have anything to do with the policy of America. If Trump comes in and says, "Oh yeah, well he really ended the war in Ukraine. Cool, I just heard this whole thing. Yeah, he's gonna stop the war." That was, in my opinion, all of that is entirely the plan. Okay, have the new guy come in, yeah, right, and then bust some people in the three-letter agencies to make it look like they're really mixing everything. It's all just to placate the people, to think that it's just that there is actually a people input into the policy of America, and I don't buy it. I like to say it for myself. I just don't buy it. Okay, so I think that but in particular, the videos on religion are that which you need to be careful about, because I think that these even videos that you think, well, no, Satan wouldn't be reminding you of hell, he wouldn't want you, but there was a disparaged feeling that I had after watching this video. There was a feeling in the pit of my stomach. There's something, that didn't feel right to me, and now, where I feel I have some credibility to come in and talk with you guys about this is that, as I've mentioned, I had a little bit of a cheat. I had a little bit of an inside, because I knew not only would I make it, but I would be class leading by making it. So look at the difference between what I talk about and what these people talk about, okay, as far as religion goes. And they got these big 400,000 subscriber, 1 million subscriber, 200,000 subscriber channels, okay? They're not blocked. They're not shadow banned, okay? Oh, well, maybe they're because they're not doing something that's illegal in terms of what the angelic realm or demonic realm is allowed to reveal to man. And I'm breaking those rules by showing the reptilian shape-shifting footage. Ooh, okay? But if Satan isn't worried about you, wouldn't he let you grow? And if he is concerned that you are making a real difference, you are talking about something real because you can actually see it, maybe that's the real thing. Okay, because I'll tell you again, as I just said, not only do I make it into the kingdom, I'm class leading in my making it into the kingdom. Okay? As in highly ranked among those who make it into the kingdom. So say I, with zero proof. Okay? Just because I've had an angelic encounter and I've even got pictures and everything, it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. Okay? It's all just talk. When we actually enter into the kingdom and you see the results of your life, then you know something for sure. But until then, everyone you're listening to, you don't know. But there is what I find about the people who I've made friends with, the people who like me, the people who have supported me, they can, whatever it is, even if I'm not as impressive as all these people, and they're so good out of the scripture, and they're very popular, and these big channels, and they have big money, and they got their Mercedes Benz, and their Manhattan apartment and everything, and I'm in this little RV and cars are zooming by. Oh, excuse me, there's somebody zoom by. You can feel a sincerity, at least, about the person. You can sense about who they are. There's a feeling that comes through as you listen to their voice. There's a feeling, a vibe, a spirit that comes through. You can feel it. I can feel it. Okay? And just that alerts, I believe, also those that are on the path to life. They're listening to somebody real. Okay? Even if they're not as impressive as some of these other folks. Okay? Maybe some other people say, oh, what you're doing is useless. Okay? Oh, you're shadow banned because you only have 1,000 views for each movie because you suck or whatever. Okay? But there's something real there. There's something, even if it's not, I'm not a world-class scholar here. Okay? I learned how to see some elements of demons with a video camera, and I had some interesting experiences, and I talk about my thoughts about things. I'm not that expensive. I'm not one of these people like James Rink on the Super Soldier channel. He's got some new guy on with some incredible ass story every other week or every other whatever. There's something cool. In my opinion, Jimmy Payne is the most awesome person he's ever had on. But in any case, I'm not that. But at least what I am and how much I have is genuine. And there's but more than that, there's in my novel Rainy City, I talked about how in this one vision that one of the main characters has, they can see the lifeline of a person, and some people were leading down, and it was getting dimmer and dimmer and darker, but some people it was leading up, and it was stronger and brighter. Okay, and you can feel it because a lot of this yak, we can't figure it out. I can't. You can't. Nobody can. A lot of people, they think they know something out of the scripture. Nah. They think they've seen it because they have a vision and they talk to somebody and they had this angelic vision and they went down to hell and they saw this and that. But until you make it into the kingdom, in reality, the deception runs so deep, no one knows what all you got here going on. So I would just say that there's a vibe to tap into. There's a feeling to tap into, a sincerity. But I mean also use your common sense. For instance, I kind of like that guy, Jonathan Kleck. He doesn't seem like a rotten fellow to me. But holy moly, I mean, what the F is that guy saying? You either making a point about something or not. And I'll just say about myself, a lot of times I'll start a point and I'll digress and I'll forget to finish the point. But at least, for the most part, if I'm making a point, it leads somewhere, some logic, A, B, and C equals D or something. You're saying something at least. The only problem I have with Jonathan there is I don't know what on earth he's talking about. But these videos talking about what happens when you die. These videos talking about hell. These pastors and even very experienced, very popular, very goodly seeming people. Again, I would caution, or I would just say, I don't know, but there's a feeling there. There's something that you can tap into. There's something that you can think about also. When you compare it to what the scripture says. And keeping in mind how little we really know for sure, because the test, I think, is beyond mental capacity. It's not a test of mental capacity, how smart you are. It's how strong and sincere you are in your heart. God is testing your heart and your ability to stay with the truth. God is seeking those to worship Him in spirit and in truth. Are you really unified with truth? Are you really unified with the voices of the real truth that's out there? They may not be that popular. They may not be that interesting or great, but at least they're real. They're someone who's real. God, I hope I'm not fake. Wait a minute, this whole thing's fake. Oh my God, I'm fake. It's all fake. Sorry, Scripture says don't jest. I tend to have to jest a little bit. But these videos, it would make sense that Satan would roll out a whole series of videos about hell that could include a lot of true information and goodly, moralistic language and rhetoric and talking about, these things. But then they just slip it in like a low-lying fog. That's what he loves. He loves. When Satan screws me over in some way, because he'll attack me in various ways, he's known I was an enemy long before I was even really aware that he was attacking me specifically in my life. Okay, I only even figured that out when I started attacking him by uploading these reptilian shapeshifter movies, showing him in people, including myself, showing Satan in myself, revealing his ugly ass reptilian forms. Okay? At least it's real. At least it's real. These people are these big grandiose spiritual, these people love it. Like that song from the Door Brothers, Lies Wide Shut, from that movie. Catholicism. You guys know about Catholicism? It's not Christianity, friends. You didn't think that was Christianity, did you? Oh boy. And if you're watching this, it's not too late. Say this prayer now. Father in heaven, please save my soul by the work of your Son Jesus on the cross, and show me your pure words in the authorized King James Bible.
I'm